Hello, everyone, and welcome to another very exciting match in this randomizer tournament. We have Locust versus Mathulu. I'm joined here by Jason.
Hello.
This is the losers semifinals in the upper bracket. So whoever loses this is going to go home with fourth place, certainly a respectable finish, but whoever wins is going to go on to face whoever loses between Conra and Jetfire. So that'll be another exciting race.
We're just waiting for ours from the racers, and then we'll count them down and get started. Looks like Mathulu still needs a minute. So looking at this board, there's a
very
few
exciting board.
Yeah, there's a few early goals here with Vengefly King, Massive Moss Charger is a very easy green path goal that is available once you get basically any progression. 3 maps, same, with just needing access to 3 corner for locations, and that's not very hard to get.
Yeah, I think the cool thing, there's not a ton of random obtains on this board. There's a few. There's the Lifeblood Charms, Shape of Unbalder Shell. But there's a few bosses. Mostly what I see is a lot of kind of check. I see check Isma's Tear, check Love Key, check the Hollowness Crown. And knowing how proficient both of these runners are with some of these curse skips, it might be exciting to see whether we end up in a race to see maybe a Clawless Crown or some of these Ismas or Love Key skips.
Clawless Crown is a bit much, I think. But
yeah, it's definitely a cursed one.
Yeah, but worth noting, they will be playing on medium logic, which means that some amount of skips, namely shade skips and what skips that have been deemed mild, will be in logic and might be required, but none of the harder skips, no acid skips or spike tunnel skips or dark rooms, will be required.
I also see on this board a lot of Dreamnail locked goals. There's those 2 Dream Warriors, the 500 Essence, as well as, of course, Obtain Dreamnail.
Yeah. Also Green Path Route. Though that one's also
as well
pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Kill a King's Mold needs 3 Dreamnails, so also Dreamnail locked. I think Vertical is pretty strong here with Journal Below Stone Sanctuary and 2 Maggots. Claw especially. Those are 2 really quick goals.
Yeah, okay, 2 very quick goals with Claw. Even with just Wings, we could still see either of our runners do, but certainly would prefer having the Claw there. And it looks like we are ready for that countdown, and in just a few moments, our runners are going to be ready.
Yep. Just gotta wait for a stream delay to catch up a bit. So interesting question with medium start of whether you decide to go for False Night or Shops first. With easy settings, usually people choose to do False Night because there's 3 in logic checks there, while there's only 1 in logic check because Sly only counts as 1 check for progression. But with medium, Salubra is in logic as well with the shade skip, so you could be it could be more enticing to go that direction, especially since it gets you towards skipping up to Blue Lake or shop goals like Buyout Salubra, spend 4K.
Yeah, and we are seeing our runners finally load in, both going through KP. And in terms of the False Night versus going to shops, it's a very interesting dichotomy. I kind of suspect that our runners will tend more towards False Night, given how few random goals there are on the board. But we could see either way, and especially if our 2 runners end up splitting, could be very interesting.
Yeah. Another interesting question with medium start is, do you check Go Mask Shard? Because that is a fairly long check that is often skipped, especially in easy logic when it's not in logic. but it is in logic and is one of the checks that could be progression.
Yeah, and we'll also see whether they choose to go back for Fury. I suspect both of them will. Mathulu just going to be just a bit ahead, having gotten that soft fall after the crumble. Locus, unfortunately, getting the hard fall is going to be just slightly behind.
Worth mentioning
and just a
that
seal at Fury.
Worth mentioning that this match is the first in a set of best of 3. So whoever wins this one will still have to win another match in order to advance, and whoever loses will not be immediately out. I believe their next match is already scheduled for tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yep, tomorrow at 8 Eastern. Me and Jason are going to be coming that one as well. And it looks like a Vengeful Spirit at Izelda. Very interesting to see whether our runners will choose to continue on through Crossroads or go straight to Green Path.
And it looks like also Shape of N on the board, a random goal that both of them bought, but unfortunately Mathulu was a bit too late to mark that goal. So
yeah, and unfortunately just a bit slower. So now we see the moment of truth. Will our runners choose to take that VS and head into Green Path?
Looks like Mathulu is heading that direction.
It does look that way.
Meanwhile,
and,
Locus
I think it makes
is
a lot
not.
Of sense. And Locus is not. So we have seen our first split. Looks like Locus able to get some progress towards that interact with 3 corner for locator that have 3 different maps goal, whereas Mathulu is probably going to be first to that defeat Vengefly King and Massive Moss Charger goal, especially with the VS to be able to skip up there.
I think I like this play from Locus, giving up the Vengefly King Massive Moss Charger goal in Green Path, because he's already up a goal. He can afford to give up some quick goals, and I think Crossroads is a bit better for getting quick checks because Green Path without dashes, you pass by a lot of stuff.
And it looks like Locus might be going to be. Yeah. I wonder for each of our runners, like whether they're going to be thinking that the other one is also in Green Path, or perhaps they think that they're alone. So we'll see if they choose to kind of rush it, or if Locus, perhaps thinking that he's behind, having gone to that, gone to get that map, get the bench, thinks that Mathulu is ahead of him, as Mathulu is. And a very, very nice fireball skip from Mathulu, as well as a second one. He's playing a bit of any percent here.
Yeah, this is very much any percent up until they go kill Massive Moss Charger.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see Dash in Green Path. Maybe this is just a glorified any percent seed.
Could be. We'll see if Locus does get both these fireball skips, or us to go for the slightly slower backup. That might matter a lot, especially with this early Vengefly King goal. Mathulu is also
low on HP,
struggling a bit. He's on just 1 mask, so hopefully does not die. So it looks
might
like
want
Locus
to take
is going
some time to
bench.
heal.
Yeah, I think so. So dying here without any of the benches that Locus got, that would be just a complete disaster for Mathulu.
Yeah, I'm surprised Mathulu didn't choose to get the waterfall bench, honestly. That bench is pretty quick, and you kind of do want it for getting to Massive Moss Charger later.
Ooh, Mathulu playing with our hearts a bit there, but is able to pick up that Vengefly King kill. As Locus, unfortunately, fails the fireball skip a bit, is going to be slightly behind.
Unfortunately, no Soul Totem in this patch to attempt the backup there.
And if anyone knows Soul Totems, trust me, it's Jason here.
Clearly, that should be added back in Rando. There's Hera.
Hera. Now, most of those Infection Pogos are not in medium logic, but I think our runners are also pretty proficient at them, so we'll see if that maybe gets used to go straight into right side.
And I'm sure Locus will appreciate that.
Going to be very happy to see that early King's brand.
Yeah, I think Hera I think for the runners, probably the best thing to do would be to buy Hera after getting getting the Crossroads bench, because it's pretty annoying that infection closes off the path up to that, and you'd have to go all the way around past shops. But the infection is useful for getting those extra checks, skipping over to right side.
And Locus choosing to go for the Vengefly King. I think Locus might be assuming that Mathulu continued through Crossroads, because, you know, knowing what we know that Locus, he went for the bench. He went for the Hot Springs bench, the Waterfall bench. So we know that he's sort of far behind, but from his perspective, Mathulu could not even be in Green Path at all.
Yeah.
And we'll see also how long it takes Mathulu to get the skip up to Massive Moss Charger. It's certainly not an easy skip, but I think Mathulu should have it no problem.
I'm surprised to see Locus come down this way towards Massive Moss Charger instead of going by the two grubs from Waterfall bench. I think it's about the same time, and you get the benefit of passing by two really quick to get grubs.
And not only do you get the
that
grubs,
might be useful later.
You also get another corner per location, another map to get, which brings you closer to that goal.
That's a good point.
And it looks like Mathulu able to get the Fireball skip. Doesn't need 3 of them, but able to get it pretty easily, and will be the first to this goal. Unless he dies to Massive Moss Charger, but I don't think he's going to do that.
Yeah.
And is able to get that Vengefly King and Massive Moss Charger goal. Marks it, bringing our runners up to 1-1.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised by Locus's plays here. It seems like he's been taking some time to set up for things that he doesn't actually go back. He isn't actually going back for. Like getting that Waterfall bench seemed to me like he was setting up for getting those two grubs in the map, but then didn't go back for that. Getting the Hot Springs bench looked like setting up for Crossroads, but he didn't do that either.
Yeah, we'll see if it ends up paying off for him if he does go back at some point. Because even though Mathulu's ahead of him, if Locus has all that set up, he might be able to get ahead later.
Looks like he is going to be going for those maps now. Skipping over these grubs, interestingly. Or not, I guess this is just going the long way around. So with Hera...
also picking up a grub for himself.
Yeah, with Hera, I think Locus can just go using Infection into Fungal from the Hot Springs bench if he so chooses. That would be a pretty quick way to get 3 maps, though I'm not sure whether you can afford all 3 maps plus Hera at this point. Mathulu might be looking to do the Queen Station Fireball skip into Fungal, which would also be pretty competent. I know he's pretty familiar with Fireball skips.
Yeah, no, I believe that skip is only on Spicy.
Yeah, aerosols
we'll
tend to
see
be
if
spicy.
there is a logical way into Fungal, because the 2 ways we have seen 2 ways, both with that Fireball skip as well as with the Infection pogos. But I believe both those are only in hard logic.
Yeah. 2 pale ore already, but those are not on the board. Looks like Locus might be following Mathulu into Fog Canyon towards Queen Station here. Locus does have the advantage with already having the Green Path and Fungal maps, so if he's also doing this Fireball skip, I think he's still going to be ahead as long as he gets it first try, or at least takes the same number of tries as Mathulu.
Yeah, and Mathulu did not get that Crossroads map. He elected to go straight into Green Path, so I think this should be Locus's goal.
Yeah, and it looks like Locus is also skipping that autopilot seal. There wasn't anything there, I don't believe, so...
Yeah, it was just a seal.
Rando Man? Dearest?
Well, it might have been a different seal.
Perhaps.
And we'll see what looks like to be the first attempt at this Fireball skip from Mathulu.
Unfortunate. Fireball the wrong way.
Fortunate.
Looks like Mathulu's going to go Crossroads now. Might consider buying that infection to get to Fungal. But certainly it'll be a bit slower for him. Oh, and Locus getting that
does
skip
manage
first
to get
try.
it first try.
Yeah, you need to do
Amazing.
3 turnarounds there, which is pretty difficult. But Locus makes it seem pretty easy here, and will be rewarded with a second goal here. Unless he's going the wrong way. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like Mathulu is going to get baited into buying one map. It is the cheapest one, though, just 30 geo, so he won't be set too far behind by that.
Oh,
and Locus
apparently
brings it up to 2-1.
Okay, apparently you don't need 3 turnarounds. I thought you needed 3 turnarounds for the Queen Station Fireball. But I am not very familiar with it myself. I just know I can't do it.
I'll see Locus doing this first sports check, getting bullied around a bit by these mushroom things, and is rewarded for a simple key. Rewarded by for his efforts by a simple key.
Not too relevant right now, and I don't really see any simple key goals like either waterways or just like 2 simple keys, GG's Hut, etc.
Yeah, Locus is getting bullied around a bit by Fungal, but is able to heal up now and should hopefully be fine.
Yeah.
As Mathulu is starting to finally check Crossroads, something that we saw both runners kind of move right past. Able to find Mark of Pride.
A Balder Killer,
Nice charm
not
to have. Yes. It's probably the best Balder Killer we've seen yet here.
Clearly. VS doesn't exist. Locus gonna heal a bit before Shroomels. Worth noting, if Locus does want to get to Leg Eater here, he will have to do a Fireball skip again to get over the acid in front of a Leg Eater.
Yeah, and in
That
fact, not
might
just
be-
about
Might be a
Spore
bit
Shroom.
easier said than done.
Yeah, I mean, not just with the Fireball
low
skip.
HP.
He has to do these jumps that are kind of difficult, especially when, whenever you're on 1 HP, all these hazards just seem to get a magnet towards you.
Yeah, I don't know if Locus realizes. Okay,
Looks
like he's not going to go for it. I would have liked him to see him go back and farm some soul from the Shroomel that respawns there, to get that Fireball skip. Because Light Eater is a pretty good bench to have.
We'll see if Locus chooses to get the Go Mask Shard. Looks like he is going to be trying it. Mathulu, I believe, skipped right past it.
Yeah, that looks
this
pretty
isn't
clean.
logic, so able to get up there. If this is progression, then Mathulu's going to be hurting, because I don't think he'll go back for this for a while.
I mean, Mathulu might choose to buy Infection, which would be a pretty easy, make this skip much easier, and might put it back on his mind. Meanwhile, pretty clean Fireball skip from Mathulu, and there's QG Stag, which is a goal with Visit QG or Cast Off Shell.
So QG Stag for Mathulu and City Storeroom Stag for Locus. So our runners are once again going to be splitting up. Mathulu going to be able to get that goal, but Locus certainly having easier access to quite a few checks compared to going into QG.
Yeah, and there's Shop Key for Locus, which might lead him towards checking shops here and getting that QG Stag, though there doesn't seem to be much at it. Did Mathulu check Sly?
I don't believe he did.
Oh, Mathulu didn't even check this. Okay, makes sense. So it looks like Locus is going to be going and doing a shops check before continuing through storerooms. Probably looking to follow that shop key as progression.
Yeah, I think it makes sense knowing that that Go Mask Shard was in Logic. Doesn't look like
Yeah.
there's a lot at Vanilla Sly. It's a pretty cheap seal, as well as Soul Catcher, which is a useful charm.
Yeah. Yeah. Rando tends to put things further in Logic, in the sense that, like, if you find it's always better to explore newer areas, or it at least tends to be better to do so, than it is to keep looking in areas you've had access to for a long time. So that shop key is pretty likely to be progression here.
And looks like Mathulu, having purchased that Hera, is gonna do this Infection Pogo over to right side. Is gonna be able to check most of RG, as well as a few checks in right side city. We'll see if that leads him anywhere.
Yeah, this is pretty reasonable. I think I would have preferred doing False Knight first, because this isn't in Logic, while False Knight is. Or even doing Go Mask Shard, which is almost certainly progression.
Which we know is.
Yeah. Very clean cleanup from Locus.
Yeah, it was very, very good. And we haven't seen Locus. I believe we saw him kind of skip past those other checks in storerooms, so those might be progression if shop key ends up being nothing.
Yeah. Just barely
so Locus,
missed.
Unfortunately, losing a bit of height on those fireballs and misses it just by a bit.
Fortunately, there was
we'll
not
see, though,
anything much at Salubra, so
yeah,
not missing out on too much.
Moment of truth. Oh, World Sense, that's nice. And a few cheap
Not a
relics,
goal,
but
though.
besides that, nothing at shop key.
Yeah. Looks like Lucas might be looking to recheck some shops, maybe check grubs. Oh, buying the arcane egg to sell the lamb makes sense.
So it looks like this may be either a grubs check or heading towards Moloch from Locus.
Maybe even both. So
Lifeblood Heart, that is going to be half of a goal.
Yeah, 11 grubs for dive as well. Cheap Mask Shard. Distant Village at 8 grubs. Is that in Logic? I guess they have 9 grubs between Crossroads and Green Path, so 7 is in Logic, but I don't think they have logical access to... Oh, wait, no, I don't think the speed grub is in Logic. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, I suppose the way he's getting there isn't in Logic. So we'll see whether this pans out for Locus.
Yeah, I think Dive and DV Stag might actually be in Logic, though, because I think the pogo on the flying dude up to this grub that Locus is going towards right now is in medium Logic. I'm not too familiar with medium Logic grubs. Locus getting that pogo to the simple key pretty cleanly, second try, and is rewarded with another Lifeblood charm. So Grub's actually looking pretty good for Locus here.
It's sort of 2 Lifeblood charms that Mathulu is probably not going to get. At least Joni's Blessing, he's probably not going to be looking towards for a while.
Yeah.
So Mathulu is stuck either having to find the other Lifeblood, I think it's Lifeblood Core, or just missing out on this goal entirely.
Yeah, chat brings up a good point that, yes, you can hit the grub through the floor, but Logic doesn't account for the fact that you can hit grubs through floors and walls, because one of the things that Logic is for is Super Junk Pit, where grubs are randomized and therefore pickups and not things you can hit. So it looks like we're gonna have both racers going towards Lem here, possibly looking to buy out Salubra or spend 4K Geo.
Yeah, Mathulu was able to pick up one of those arcane eggs, so both of them gonna have quite a bit of cash on hand. Oh no!
Locust taking an unfortunate
Locust
trying one too many damage boosts.
You know. Yeah, those flies are they're no joke.
So Mathulu is going to be a bit ahead here, checking these two checks. Amusingly, this could be where Logic is, and Mathulu just like did a long route through King Station in order to get here. But if it's something like the storeroom's elevator, which we still haven't seen from Locust, Mathulu will be a bit out of luck.
Yeah, I don't think he has any way of getting up there besides, checking the Go Mask Shard.
Yeah. Without vertical, the only way up there is either going through City Crest with a nail art, or going from Storeroom Stag.
Yeah, just an egg there. Mathulu probably going to be heading to Lem, going to get some cash for his relics. We'll see maybe if he also checks Lem egg.
Amusingly, Luke is going to be the first to Lem egg here, probably.
Yeah. Oh no, and his shade's on the other side.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. Though I guess Locust was like pretty low on money anyways. Yeah, I think Locust had spent basically all his money right before dying.
Yeah, luckily he did that before going to 11, not after. Because if he had gone after, he would have lost all that Geo.
Yeah.
As Mathulu able to pick up 3,800 Geo for his efforts. And
yeah,
probably going to move toward buying out Salubra.
Yeah, I assume he'll be able to buy out Salubra here as well as spend 4K.
Fact,
so that will be
able to
2 goals sniped. That death there really cost Locust. I think without it, he could have gotten both of these goals. Though, actually, never mind. I don't think he has Salubra bench.
Yeah, I believe he, after kind of failing that fireball skip, he just decided to go straight to Sly.
I guess he wouldn't have had enough money anyways, apparently, for Salubra.
Yes, looks like Locust heading into Waterways. Having seen that key, I think it's a smart thing to do. And Mathulu checking the Go Mask Shard. We'll see if this pays off for him, because we have not seen that elevator check yet.
Yeah, besides
frankly,
that,
we're running out of locations that could have progression. We haven't seen Moloch yet. We haven't seen this elevator, and
we haven't seen
few other
False
checks,
Knight.
but we haven't seen False Knight as well. That's true.
Another medium logic location that could be progression is Baldur Shell. There's a shade skip you can do to Baldur Shell. That Isma's is not in logic, I don't believe. Because the simple key was at Sporgs, which is not in logic yet. Again, I do think the dive at 8 grubs is in logic, as well as the distant village stag there. So I could see that also being where progression is. So they actually have quite a lot of checks, but all of them are very annoying.
Yeah. We'll see when, if ever, Mathulu chooses to go check grubs, because we see a lot of kind of half progression things, like the dive kind of leads you to a few more things, the stag kind of leads you to a few more things, but nothing that's really like a movement ability itself. So it'll be interesting to see when Mathulu chooses to check it and how far he is in terms of progression when he does. Locust, I believe, can't get this fireball skip again, having only 2 fire. Well, he can, I think, having 2 fireballs, but it's much, much harder.
Looks like this could be a False Knight play, maybe Salubra. Looks like maybe False Knight, maybe Grubs even. Yeah, this looks like Grubs from Locust.
False Knight.
I do like farming up to 8 grubs here for Locus. He's very close to it, actually. And it gets him, I think the Lifeblood Charm was like somewhere in the high single digits. So either 8 or 9.
Yeah, and that will be the goal for him because he does have that Joni's Blessing already.
And it also gets him Dive, which is pretty good, as well as Distant Village Tag, which leads to some checks.
Looks like Mathulu, though, is also going to be getting this Joni's Blessing, so it could just be a race to grubs, or Locus could just get it right now and lock Mathulu out. Yeah,
Mathulu hasn't checked grubs at all yet, and hasn't gotten very many grubs compared to Locus. It looks like 3 compared to Locus's 7 right now. So yeah, I definitely think this will be going to Locus here. Oh, Dive was at 11 grubs, right? I forgot. I thought it was a bit less than that.
Beyond that, and even just getting the grubs, I think is going to be quite good for Locus, kind of moving towards that obtain 15 grubs goal.
Yeah. It's always nice when you are working towards obtain 15 grubs at the same time as getting some progression or other goals at grubs.
Yeah, it's always great when you can kind of, match up, saying, you have this goal, you have moving towards progression, and being able to kind of have those two meet at the middle.
Looks like Locus is not going to be getting that Distant Village stack that I thought I remembered being at 8 grubs. No, it could have been 11.
Yeah, it looks like Locus might be using that Isma's tier here to get a few other checks, as well as to finally head to Leg Eater.
Yeah, that seems pretty smart.
Mathulu goes and says hi to Hornet.
Embracing the fact that this is just an any % seed with dash at dash. It'll be interesting to see if Locus chooses to, or manages to get this damage boost seal here. You can get onto that ledge with nothing, just like that, as Locus demonstrated.
Just a Stalwart Shell and Sprint Master.
Sprint Master, unironically, pretty nice right now with no
it is, yeah,
other
with no dash yet.
I appreciate how we've gotten 3 different ways to get into Fungal now, with Infection, Fireball, Queen Station Fireball Skip, and Ismas, and none of those 3 were in Logic.
Looks like Mathula going to be checking Mound. This is a fresh check, as well as Leg Eater is also a fresh check, so anything could be progression here. Thorns of Agony. Quick Slash is nice, and a bit of Geo, but not going to be getting progression.
Yeah. Locus might be eyeing that 6 charm notches goal. Buying some extra charms for those automatic charm notches, perhaps.
Might be. I believe we did see a charm notch at Sly, so just being able to get the Geo. And looks like that might be where it's heading now, as well as perhaps to purchase Soul Catcher. Brings him up to 5
charms.
And
I can't read how many charms that is. It's
looks like he's just
8
a
or
few
9
charms away.
Oh, there we go.
That's going to be 6.
That's 6.
And
very good presence of mind from Locus to remember that goal and keep track of when it's available.
Brings our runners up to 4-4, dead even, with progression being about even as well. So it still could be anyone's game.
Yeah, I imagine Locus might be looking to go to False Knight now. That's one of the denser things that has yet to be checked. I'm still voting I'm still holding out for Distant Village Stag at 8 grubs to be progression here.
Yeah, very well might. And it looks like Mathulu is heading up that way, or perhaps to Moloch.
Yeah,
over to Moloch, which is in Logic here.
Yep,
on
with
medium.
1 spell.
So this could very well be progression.
Locus will be getting 2 new checks here as well at False Knight. Mathulu just checked Mound, but did not go to False Knight due to having infection.
And conveniently for him, is going to be able to check all of Mound. We know that there's nothing there, but sort of nice for him to know that he is missing something there.
Locus putting out some pretty nice damage against False Knight with Quick Slash and VS.
And just a Wanderer's Journal. And just a Rancid Egg. Let's look at the chest.
Progression is... Oh,
and there
Crystal
is
Heart.
Crystal Heart.
So that puts a few things in logic. It puts the fungal into logic, meaning the simple key and waterways are also game. As well as, since there's that simple key, base and simple key is also in logic now by going into waterways and C-dashing through the spike tunnel, stopping halfway and dropping down the broken elevator shaft into basin. So that might be where we see our next piece of progression. Not often that you see that, but it is possible. Of course, C-dash also puts other less lengthy checks in logic, such as Acid Bridge and Green Path.
As well as Glowing Womb.
Yeah.
Ooh, it looked like a Wraith from Mathulu. That's quite nice for him.
Yeah.
Both in terms of the damage output.
Not quite Glowing Womb, actually. You need Vertical or Infection to get up there, and Infection is not in logic.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
That C-dash plus that Isma's also puts... so the C-dash puts... the one grub and fungal in logic. The Ismas then also puts the Fog Canyon grub in logic. And I don't know if there's another one that you can get, but if you could, that would be... Oh, right, waterways. So Dive is in logic now at 11 grubs.
So looks like we're going to see Mathulu also picking up this C-dash.
Yeah, not going to be too far behind here, but unfortunately we'll be a bit behind in not having checked fungal and not having that simple key, which I suspect might be important here.
Yeah, I think so.
Looks like Locus might be thinking of going down there, or maybe just selling to Lem.
Locus also being quite close to check Isma's tier. I think he would just need some form of vertical.
Yeah.
And I believe actually he also is almost able to check Love Key. I believe you can get there with C-dash and the Stag.
You can get into QG with Ismas, certainly. You can't really... So you can get through the platforms with a bunch of fireball skips. I'm not certain whether either of the racers wants to do that right now, but it certainly is a possibility.
Yeah.
It would be a goal. Looks like Mathulu is going to be checking grubs here, seeing what he's missed at grubs, and might be incentivized to farm up a bit of grubs here towards that 15 grubs, that distant village stag, and the dive.
So looks like Locus going to be checking the elevator here. I believe we've already seen this from Mathulu as being nothing. Oh no!
Locus taking an unfortunate death. Well,
yeah,
maybe it was intentional. Maybe he just wants to get his shade back.
It's a very annoying area, I think, without dive or.
Yeah, I think Locus tried to dive there, but didn't have dive, so fireballed instead.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. And looks like Mathulu going to elect to do C-dash here. Does have the fireball, but of course, quite a bit faster to do the C-dash.
Yep. So Mathulu's going to be picking up his simple key here, as well as going to see that Leg Eater has not much besides Quick Slash.
Now Mathulu able to get his own simple key, which we know now is in logic with the C-dash. And we'll see how quickly he chooses to use it. Because both our runners kind of got into City in different ways. You know, Mathulu came in through Blue Lake, and Locust came in through that storeroom stag. But we may see both of them take that first trip into Waterways.
Looks like Locust might be looking to go to right side now with buying that infection. And also checking Salubro, which is something he still hasn't done. Not a horrible play. The checks left are all pretty horrible. And pretty slow.
I think Mathulu going to pick up his own Spore Shroom.
In terms of goals, most things still just need vertical or like Dream Nail or something. But again, Love Key is maybe theoretically possible from this point.
Looks like Locust is able to get that skip. He is actually going to be able to check Progression Egg. Mathulu wasn't able to do it last time he was here, not having that C-dash yet. So this we'll see if the name does prove true, but unfortunately for Locust, just going to be a Vessel Fragment there.
The Vessel Fragments are definitely progression. I don't know what you're talking about.
It'd be some sort of like super cursed delayed fireball skip.
Yeah, and it looks like Mathulu is going to be going into Waterways here, while Locust might be going up to Resting Grounds. We might get some new checks there. Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like he is kind of luring that flying sentry guy up there, and we are going to be seeing some new checks there.
So we have seen both of the left checks in Waterways that they can reach from Locust, but we have not seen the bench egg, and we also haven't seen anyone C-dash towards base and simple key. So we could get some new checks here from Mathulu, but he will need to spend some time doing these checks and then walking all the way back first if he so chooses to do that.
Like Mathulu going to pick up his own Ismas tier, which is certainly it's quite good for him. It means, you know, in terms of going towards that Ismas tier goal, that he can get it with either form of vertical.
Yeah. Also possibly relevant for checking Love Key later.
Yeah, as well as checking Love Key, maybe even getting into QG.
Getting into Kingdom's Edge also.
Stag already. Yeah.
Looks like Mathulu is also going to warp out and not continue back through Waterways. Pretty understandable. This looks like it might be Acid Bridge, maybe No Eyes Dark Room.
It looks like Locust choosing not to check what's at Essence, which I think makes sense given that he doesn't have a Dream Nail yet or any kind of leads on where to get one.
Yeah.
But so far has not found anything in Resting Grounds.
I'm surprised Locust hasn't been like farming more grubs or checking Distant Village Stag. There's a second simple key. Yeah.
Now Locust is not going to have super easy access to Pleasure House, but will be able to get there if he chooses to. It looks like he's instead going to go perhaps into Cliffs.
This looks like Boulder Shell.
Trying to get that dive. He could just be looking towards that dive.
Yeah. I like that play.
Looks like Mathulu also going to be trying to get a few more grubs. Right now it's 10-7, with 11 kind of being that magic number for the dive.
Yeah. Looks like this might be the fungal grub from Locust. I guess like when you've already gotten this many grubs, there's not that many grubs left to get.
The one thing kind of going in Mathulu's favor in this particular race is Locus went for these grubs early, whereas Mathulu is going into getting these grubs already having C dash and already having a lot of these benches for areas that he's already visited. So I think even if Locus gets to 11 grubs faster, I think Mathulu overall is going to have spent less time getting to grubs, and we'll see how that kind of plays out later.
I'll be curious to see whether Locus continues on to get the Dash Master check at least, or even Mantis Claw. Wouldn't blame him for either warping out or continuing here. Both seem pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I guess it depends on sort of if he has a clear plan for where to go with dive. I mean, obviously, Crypt seems like a logical location.
Yeah. I assume he wants to go to Crypts and into King Station that way.
Yeah, and just having, access to that right side, having the bench there as well is going to be pretty convenient for Locus later.
Looks like Mathulu is quickly catching up to Locus here on 11 grubs. Gonna finish out with this this grub next to King Station. So Crypts is a good play here with dive, but it also isn't in logic. So that dive actually kind of points me towards wanting to go check what's in Peak's Darkroom Egg. Because
that is one of the few things
something that is put in logic.
You're able to get just with access to peaks, but with not a lot else. We could even see Mathulu choose to go there and then, head into Resting Grounds by way of that, because it is a bit faster than, going through that Infection Pogo again.
Yeah.
Mathulu able to pick up his second Lifeblood Charm. Unfortunately, it's just a bit late towards getting that goal. But able to pick up another Mass Shard, which is nice for him, as well as that Distant Village Stag.
Looks like Crypts is a bust so far. Maybe there'll be something in the right side, but nothing without vertical right now. It looks like Mathulu is going to be checking that Distant Village Stag here.
Yeah, heading into Distant Village, it's
and there's
the tram pass.
So that is logical right side. Yeah.
Yeah.
With that, like, a lot more of the map opens up, because that allows you to get to Resting Grounds, and with dive, that allows you to get to King Station as well. So we could, again, Base and Simple Key is looking good.
And, not only is it kind of, puts a lot of these things into logic, it's also quite a bit of a faster way to get into Resting Grounds compared to, a Shade Skip or an Infection Pogo, or, heading up potentially from somewhere else. So also, that's definitely going to be great for Mathulu.
Also, not negligible is the fact that it lets you get to Deep Nest for the Nosk grub. That could be relevant for 15 grubs since they're already at 11 here. And there's
looks
Great
like that's
Slash.
Gonna be a Great Slash.
Yeah, possible NMG content.
Yeah, I don't believe that puts anything into logic immediately, but is going to be quite helpful. Perhaps looking towards that NMG or to, just get around within city with some of these levers.
Yeah, so right now it looks to be pretty even. They have basically the same progression. Locus hasn't yet seen the tram pass at Distant Village, but we'll probably check it pretty soon. Also worth noting, Fluke Marm is now in logic with that dive. So we might be seeing Mathulu do that right here, as well as get this bench check. And we might see Locus rushing these kind of 15 grubs.
Kind of a cursed setup for Fluke Marm, but it is a logical one. But
there's
able to pick up that Grimchild.
That's also
Grim also, I believe, in logic.
Yeah.
But we'll see if the check first is anything. Oh, just a bit
just some Geo. So Fluke, Marm, Grim. Mathulu has some choice between some content bosses.
Of course, it could just also be that classic base and simple claw.
Yep. Looks like this will be Locus's 13th grub.
Oh no, he dies again.
That's a pretty rough death because you have to go back into that room for your shade, and you don't really want to go there. Looks like Locus might be following Mathulu here into base and simple claw.
Yeah, and I don't believe this check Mathulu's doing is in logic without dash.
Yeah, I think you need
but
dash.
he is able to get it quite easily.
Locus might be looking to check Pleasure House here. I don't know
It certainly
whether...
looks that
Oh,
way.
nice, you can make it.
Um,
That was a pretty interesting C-dash.
Mathulu also going to be able to get this tram bench, which is definitely convenient for kind of getting around.
Yeah. If Locus decides to go here, that's two pretty easy grubs for him with the base and dive grub here and the Nos grub in Deep Nest. So that could be a quick 15 grubs for Locus. If I don't know what grubs Mathulu has available to him, but he could also go for that as well.
Although Locus actually doesn't have the tram pass, so you know, that Nos
fair.
grub is not accessible to him.
Right,
So
I forgot
it's going to be
that
interesting
Locus
to see
hasn't been there yet.
It's going to be interesting to see kind of the extent to which our runners prioritize moving towards this 15 grubs goal. Because you know, Locus is a bit ahead right now, but Mathulu has access to that Nos grub.
Mathulu unfortunately failing the easier Mark of Pride skip up here and has to do this damage boost to get here. This is not in logic, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that's considered a spicy skip.
Yeah, I think it's fine with dash. Like it's in mild with dash, but not without.
But still, we'll be able to pick up this check, and we'll see what it is for him.
Meanwhile, Locus will be getting this Waterways bench. Was this Tram Pass or was that Distant Village?
That was
This
Grim
is Grim
Child,
Child, right?
And Tram Pass was at Distant Village. Interesting. So it looks like Locus may be suiting up to go kill those 3 Umas. I think that's something that either Mathulu kind of chose to skip or perhaps just forgot about.
Yeah, I completely forgot that goal was on the board as well.
I did for a bit too.
Looks like Locus's Grimchild is not spawning. I believe he is allowed to deploy a bench here to get it to spawn.
He is, yeah, and for this goal specifically, he is allowed to deploy a bench.
Yeah, this goal and the Grim goal. You can deploy a bench and re-equip your minion charm to get it to respawn, because for some reason Rando sometimes causes minions to not respawn.
And Grimchild not cooperating. I think Grimchild's probably the minion charm that you would want the least for this goal, because
yeah,
I love Grimchild, but his aim is not the best.
Yeah, I think if you get Grimchild like vertically aligned with it, it's like pretty hard for it to miss. But like shooting from the side, its aim is horrible.
Right, that's one down.
Quite the Uma.
One down, just 2 to go for Locus. Nice.
Okay.
Second one, Grimchild, you know, getting a bit better, kind of improving the batting average there.
Grimchild was literally
and
right on top of that. I have no idea why that one
get that third Uma, which will bring Locus up to his 5th goal.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Mathulu has taken that time to catch up on grubs and is now at 14 grubs and probably heading towards his 15th here, next to Peaks.
Yeah, it looks like if once he's finally able to make it out past this room, which is not an easy room at all without dash or without
Yeah.
vertical, but
Infected
is able to
Crossroads
make
is
it up
really
and looks
annoying.
like is going to be moving towards that 15th grub.
Meanwhile, it looks like Locus is maybe going towards Balder Shell here. I'm not, or maybe Hornet. He hasn't done Hornet either.
Yeah, I don't believe he's done Hornet yet. We know that it's nothing there, but Locus is finally going to get that off his mind as Mathulu brings it up to 5-5. Our runner's keeping it very close.
Yep, and that's 15 grubs, by the way, without any vertical. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Vertical has been pretty scarce this siege. Progression in general, even. So things we have yet to see: Grim, Fluke Marm. This Peaks check. Mathulu's going towards Balder Shell. Basin Simple Claw. I don't know if there's much else, really. This might be Locus going for that Grim fight. This is a pretty big risk.
It might be.
To
I mean,
take.
it's in logic. Certainly going to be kind of a pain, without having that Wraiths and without having a dash either.
Locus trying to deploy a bench, but not deploying it first, unfortunately. Looks like this is Mathulu checking Progression Egg, maybe continuing to Resting Grounds.
Yeah, I believe I don't believe Mathulu opened up the shortcut, the kind of from Resting Grounds into Blue Lake, so is going to have to do this Pogo again, but should be able to get it no problem.
Yeah.
Luckily, we were already on Locus's audio for this one. We will get the Grim music, and depending on where progression is, we could be getting it again.
Indeed. Yeah, this is certainly a big risk to take, but with such little in logic, it could pay off big if something's here at Grim and you do it early.
The other question is kind of on my mind.
Go ahead.
So the other question that's kind of on my mind is, for these checks that we've seen one runner do, but the other not do, it'll be interesting to see kind of when our runners choose to kind of backtrack a bit.
Yeah, like I think Locus hasn't checked autopilot seal still.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting one to see whether he'll ever go back for that. Some of the easy ones, yeah, some of the easy ones to think of, like autopilot, you might see like runners be in the mindset of, oh, there's no way my opponent didn't check that, right? And just put that off forever. And if you have both racers do this, you might just never see something get checked for like over an hour, even though it's a fairly obvious check.
Locus is able to do quite well for not having dash. He's able to kind of weave around these attacks while still getting in damage himself.
Yeah.
It's a pretty impressive fight.
Yeah, this is also probably one of the worst damage layouts for this fight, having the two spells required, but not the best spell that you could have against Grim Wraiths or like any shade spells either.
Yeah, exactly. Well, also, it'll be interesting to see whether Mathulu chooses to check Essence. Neither player having kind of any idea where Dreamnail is, but still kind of a useful thing to know about.
So there's a dupe Ismas there. There's a Dreamer there. But that can't be logic for Black Egg. There's another
it'll
die
only
that
be
really
the three kind of named
expensive.
Dreamers.
Yeah, so looks like
Yeah, not
Essence
too
is
much
kind of
at
a bust.
Essence.
I believe that was the third balloon there for Locus, but I could be wrong. So it's 3/4 of the way through this fight.
And yeah, he's been doing quite well, considering his sort of unfortunate setup.
I forget where Mathulu found Race. I don't remember it being too bad.
It was at well, I think. Which is kind of bad. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
great.
Without vertical, the damage boost is pretty tight.
And Locus finally able to defeat Grim. Pretty impressive showing from Locus. And we'll see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, it could be anything from a Rancid Egg to Claw, or yeah. I guess Claw would probably be the best thing here.
Choosing not to bow, but instead to kind of jump up and down a bit. Just so excited to finally be, to finally beat Grim.
Maybe Kingsman would be the best for Locus.
Oh, there it is. There's Claw.
That's amazing.
Excellent.
Okay. Well, this race is suddenly massively in Locus's favor because I don't know how soon Mathulu will want to check Grim of all things.
It's gonna be a while. I think frankly he's probably gonna go more quickly to Fluke Marm than to Grim.
Yeah, traditionally people do Fluke Marm before Grim because I think it's just a much quicker fight. But sometimes you gotta just take some risks, and sometimes they do pay off.
So it looks like Locus choosing to just reveal right away that he checked the journal below Stone Sanctuary. Kind of an interesting choice, but I think it ends up making sense because knowing oh, my opponent has vertical, they must have gone to Grim. It is not necessarily an easy thing to think, or even necessarily a logical thing to think. Given
I
this
definitely
setup.
think if vertical was I think in fact marking this goal as early as possible makes Mathulu less likely to go check Grim and gives you even more time. Lucas doing a celebratory Mila murder.
He was just so excited to get Claw that ends up murdering a poor innocent miner.
But yeah, the dupe Claw is still out there, and we could see Claw or Wings at Fluke Marm, like chat is suggesting.
And I think if that happens, if Mathulu does find, Wings or Claw at Fluke Marm, he's very unlikely to go check Grim because he'll probably assume that that's where Locus got his vertical.
Yeah. Definitely, I think if Mathulu finds Wings at Fluke Marm, he might just assume that Locus did the Stone Sanctuary Shade Skip. Even.
Exactly.
Just because vertical has been so lacking this seed that it's pretty unlikely for there to have been another vertical somewhere, even though in that case there would have been.
Mathulu getting some damage into Fluke Marm should be pretty close to ending her here, and able to get that dive, and we'll see if it pays off. Oh, and a Dream Nail. That pays off huge, actually. That's
that's 3 goals. That's 3 goals right there immediately with Zero and Marmu. Or I guess you can't actually get to Marmu. That's actually pretty interesting. Mathulu, despite having QG Stag, can't get to Marmu. Unless
that's true.
I don't think you can with Fireball skips even. But I think you need one of Dash, Claw, or Wings.
So it looks like Locus going to be heading towards this kill 2 Maggots goal. Isn't going to be able to defeat Failed Champ, not having that. and brings him up to 7 compared to Mathulu's 6. And,
yeah, I don't think Locus would have wanted to kill failed champ with his current loadout. Anyways.
The setup is not what you want for failed champ.
Meanwhile, looks like Locus is going to head up towards CG1. Unfortunately, will not have a dream now to be able to cheese the fight, but should be pretty easy. After that, I wouldn't be surprised by like check Isma's tier, check Love Key, Watcher Knights, even like Teacher's Archive lore tablets. Honestly, like
yeah, I mean he very well
Looks
could.
has a lot of options.
Looks like he's heading up towards that defeat CG2 goal as well as a few new checks.
CG1 actually, but yeah.
CG1, sorry. Yeah, CG2 would be a bit cursed.
Yeah, and it looks like Mathulu is going to go check Boulder Shell here. CG1 goes down pretty easily, even without the Dream Nail cheese. Just, the attacks are so slow compared to CG2. Gives you a lot of time to dodge. Yeah. That will be 8 now for Locus.
Yep. 8 for Locus. Runner's keeping it very, very close. You know, as soon as we say, oh, you know, Locus is so ahead, he got Claw, Mathulu finds the Dream Nail. It's just been so back and forth. It's been really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. I do think that Locus is still massively favored, but that Dream Nail certainly did a lot for keeping Mathulu in the game a bit longer.
Looks like Locus now just in full goal rush mode. You know, doesn't even check the rest of peaks. He's going straight towards check Isma's tier.
Yeah, makes sense. At this point, you want to capitalize on your claw as much as possible. I wouldn't be surprised to see after this like Love Key, 420 Geo Rock. Those are both pretty easy.
As well as Watcher Knights.
Yeah, Hollowness Crown I think is doable, but not very fun.
Yeah, it's not fun at all without dash.
Yeah. Green Path Root. Oh, I guess Locus doesn't have Dream Nail, so that makes that not. Yeah, doable.
Locus doesn't have Dream Nail. That's the one thing kind of keeping Mathulu in.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we will not be seeing these Isma skips. Locus just going to be able to swim through with Isma's tier.
It looks like he is going to stop at this check here. He still does need something, I think. I guess he doesn't need anything to win, theoretically, but certainly many things would speed the victory up. Like, even a Dream Nail would speed it up, dash, of course, more damage, things like that.
Yeah, we will, you know, he does have kind of 5 goals. None of them are, you know, particularly fast or easy, but he does have 5 goals he has access to. Now 4 goals being at 9. So yeah. Mathulu will have to snipe something here. If you want
that Dash Master is also pretty nice, though. Locus isn't equipping it right now. In combination with Sprint Master, makes you go even faster. And Locus does have the spare 2 charm notches, I believe.
He does have quite a few charm notches.
Yeah, he spent the time to buy those charms and charm notches earlier, and it has resulted in like I think like 7 or 8 charm notches that he has right now. Some new checks here from Mathulu, but
there's dash. That's quite nice.
That actually is very good for Mathulu, but
we'll see,
without
maybe
vertical.
Yeah, I think Mathulu here would need to go straight to check Love Key, but I think even if he rushes it, you know, he's not going to be fast enough to beat Locus there.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure, outside of finding his own vertical, I'm not sure what could really bail Mathulu out here.
Looks like Mathulu is going towards base and simple Claw, though, so he will probably be finding Claw there, as the name suggests.
Yeah, I mean, the dupe could be anywhere.
Locus having some trouble sending fireballs towards those Petras. Always pretty annoying when you don't have Shaman, even.
Yeah, this room also quite annoying, you know, without dash.
Yeah, it's definitely doable with Claw C dash. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
Nice, Locus did not get screwed by that Petra. Sometimes that Petra gets in the way of your C dash, and you're kind of screwed. I think you can probably still make the jump with fireball skips, but it's just much more annoying than just C dashing across.
Yeah. And just a mask shard, unfortunately.
Yeah. Gundam brings up a good point that dash will probably put Mathulu off this trail for Grim, for even longer. But honestly, that might not be a bad thing, because I think Mathulu, like, if Mathulu has to do Grim to get vertical, I think he's already screwed. Like, just have it, if Mathulu has to go do Grim right now, that's a lot of time lost that Locus can just spend doing all these static goals. And Mathulu needs to find vertical faster than that, I think, to come back at all.
Yeah. Locus goes up to 10 goals. And just going to be the Hollowness Crown, the Archives Lore Tablets, and Watcher Knights away from the win here.
Yeah, or 420 Geo-Rock as well. That's probably easier than...
Yeah, exactly. Probably easier than Crown.
Probably easier than Watcher Knights or Umu, even.
Yeah.
Locus not equipping Dashmaster. You hate to see it. Mathulu is really running out of in-logic checks here. Besides Grim, the dash didn't actually put all too much in logic. There is the Kingdom's Edge dive that Locus is going to pass by here, probably. That is in logic with dash, Ismas, and dive that you have to come back for. Yeah. But besides that, I don't know too much that it puts in logic that Mathulu hasn't already done. I guess QG.
Mathulu going towards QG. I'm not sure how much sense this really makes, given that you saw such a delay between, you know, that first kind of indication of having vertical, the Journal Glowstone Sanctuary, and the Check Love Key. But I think at this point, Mathulu is kind of just in full-on panic mode, and rightfully so, given, you know, how likely it is that Locus is just going to win these static goals.
That Shade Soul is very nice, though. Might make the Grim fight more reasonable, but probably not at this point. Also worth noting, it is possible that Mathulu, I think, could have contested the 420 Geo-Rock. Maybe you need Dreamgate for that, but I know you can get
Locus
there.
Getting his own dash.
Okay, that probably seals us up very tight.
In fact, that even makes it so that Crown is, you know, a pretty easy goal to get.
I guess Dash does put in logic this dive egg, which is unfortunately nothing. Cthulhu very quickly running out of time to find dupe vertical.
Yeah, getting that dash for Locus, I think, means that Mathulu has to find the dupe claw. I don't think Wings will do it for him.
Yeah. Looks like he is heading over to Kingdom's Edge, but unfortunately will be too late.
Locus moving up to his 11th goal, just 2 goals away now. He kind of has his pick of what to do. They give us Watcher Knights, I think, for the content, though. You love to see it.
Ending out with some any percent Watcher Knights and then Umu. I guess not quite any percent without, you know, Dream Nail, Shaman, and with Dive, and like with Quick Slash. But
yeah,
you can always
sort of like a, you know, the half low percent, half all skills.
Looks like Mathulu is going to be checking this Kingdom's Edge Dive Relic. A very annoying check, because you have to go back twice for it. If this is Claw, Mathulu could theoretically beat Locust to Watcher Knights with that Shade Soul. It's wings! So Mathulu could unironically go snipe Watcher Knights.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's going to have to take here.
Yeah, I don't know. Looks like Mathulu's not... Oh, Mathulu's doing Marmu first.
Doing Marmu. Oh,
that's
yeah.
I don't think Mathulu has time to do both Marmu and Watcher Knights here.
Yeah, now he could also snipe both Lore Tablets and Archives and
no, I don't think you can
Crown.
Claw.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, Mathulu really needed to snipe this Watcher Knights. It's the only it's the only goal that really that's reasonable to get without Claw, I think.
Yeah, and I think even without knowing what we know, I think it makes sense for Mathulu to go towards that Watcher Knights, knowing that Locust hasn't marked anything that indicates that he has Dream Nail.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're Mathulu, you definitely have to just hope that Locust only has, like, Claw and doesn't have Dream Nail, doesn't have a dash, doesn't have anything good other than Claw. But
yeah, but at this point, I think it would take multiple deaths to Watcher Knights for Locust to lose, and doesn't look like that's going to happen.
I guess we shouldn't speak too soon and cursed.
I shouldn't say that. Yeah.
Dive is pretty good for surviving, but
good for surviving, but Locust is struggling a bit. Looks like he's going to be able to heal up here.
Yeah, 2 heals in. Pretty nice. Looks like Mathulu is going to be heading over to Watcher Knights, but unfortunately
this is the right call, just slightly
a
bit too late, unless Locust dies.
Yeah, but like I believe this is the last Watcher.
Just having one knight left. Yeah, I believe this is the last one.
No, Locust is on 1 HP.
Yeah, he's. We should just stop talking until the fight is over.
Okay.
There we go. Finally does defeat those Watcher Knights, brings him up to 12 goals. And
it looks like this is going to be Crown. Yeah. Meanwhile, looks like Mathulu's going over to possibly do the Green Path route, which would be another goal for him, but he has to know that it's basically over at this point.
Yeah.
I guess I should start generating a spoiler log.
Yeah, I think we're just sort of watching kind of a slow motion victory for Locust. Able to just kind of take a victory lap around here to get up to Crown. Here he does have to do a pogo here. And Crystal Buggy is not behaving, but able to get it. Some pet the buggies in chat.
Is that an emote?
Oh, it's Scurry made it for that that D-Dark skip.
Nice.
And there we go. Locust gonna check crown brings him to 13 goals, and that is going to be the win.
Yep, so Locus will now be 1-0 in the best of 3 match with Mathulu, and so going into tomorrow's race, if Locus wins that one again, he'll be moving on and Mathulu will be eliminated, but there is still room for Mathulu to come back from this.
Absolutely, and tomorrow's match is going to be another exciting one. Hopefully we do get to game 3, but either way, it's going to be a great match. This one was super close up until we saw that claw kind of snowball, and hopefully the next one will also be a very close match. Let's see if we can get our runners in here to have a little, post-game interview.
Yep, I'm working on generating the spoiler log.
Yo.
Oh, let's see who joined. Hello, Locus. How are you?
I am doing okay. The Grim read was a little bit goofy.
Yeah, that was a pretty.
Oh, you're breaking up a bit, Locus.
Am I?
Not for me. Interesting.
Oh, it might just be on my end then.
Okay. Yeah, that Grim play was pretty risky, but it definitely paid off.
Yeah, like I had all the pieces for it. Like the simple key puts that in logic, and we had Storeroom Stag to get to Waterways. Like I felt like it was in logic. And my thought process behind it was I didn't think that Mathulu had Grimchild. He's since informed me that he did have Grimchild. But I was like, I thought that it was a check that he definitely hadn't done because he hadn't marked Umas. And I was like, okay, if he hasn't done this for sure, he's obviously taking a lot of time to find something, as am I. Maybe it's something deep. So I just kind of committed to it.
So I believe chat will be very pleased to know, and you will as well, that that claw at Grim was in fact the dupe claw.
Oh god, what was intended? Was it the wings that he found?
Yes, that was in fact intended. So intended progression was to get C-Dash from False Knight, Storeroom Stag, VS from the Zelda, go into Fungal, get Storeroom Stag from the Go Mask Shard. Then you want to get Distant Village Stag from Grubs for the Tram Pass at Distant Village Stag, and that gives you right side, along with Dive at 11 Grubs, in order to get you to the Kingdom's Edge Dive Journal with the Ismas in Waterways, and the Simple Key at Sporgs, to get Wings from the Markov Dive Relic. The intended claw was at Hive Mask Shard, and the dupe Wings was at Queen Station Mask Shard.
Yeah, let me just get Mathulu in here. Apparently he didn't get an invite. Oh wait, I can't actually. Oh yes, I can. I can send him this. There you go. So he should be in here shortly.
We need to mark him done. There we go.
Hello.
Perfect.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How's it going? Yeah, I never got the invite. Sorry.
Yeah, so we were just going over vertical and logic. The Grim Claw was the dupe.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like everything pointed to the Dive Relic and Edge, and I was like, I don't want to stay there. Because I thought if he got it there, he would have done 420 Rock a lot earlier. So I was like, okay. It's probably not there. So I was just checking like everything else. And then finally I was like, okay, I'm down to like this. I think I had like that in Grim. Like I actually don't know. Well, Love Key, but I knew he didn't do that. So yeah, I don't even know what else was there. I probably would have done Grim right after that.
Yeah.
There was a dash at Mantis Claw.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
and
the one
could
that
you-
Mathulu got.
That wasn't in Logic for a while, right? Like that's not even in Logic with C dash, right?
Yeah. It is. On medium.
It is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mantis Pogo's in Logic.
Yeah, the Mantis Pogo.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
was actually logical progression. It was Isthmus and Waterways plus Dive at 11 grubs, which requires 13 to be in Logic, but we actually had that. And then Dash at Mantis Claw to get you like past that one bit in the first room to get to the Dive Relic and Edge to get wings. If Claw was duped, then yeah, that was the progression.
Yeah, and right side access was also behind grubs with Tram Pass at Distant Village.
Yep.
This was a cursed seed for sure.
Yeah.
Wait, where was the 15th grub that I was missing? I was at 13, and I know I could do this shade skip to Massive Moss Charger to get my 14th. What was the 15th one?
Did you have Tram Pass?
I
Or
did
Locust didn't
not.
have Tram Pass. Yeah,
Tram Pass was that Distant Village stag.
Yeah, Mathulu
where
got
was
the
Distant Village Stag?
and Dive Grub.
It was at Grubs.
That was
right?
at
Eight
Grubs.
Oh,
That was at
it was
eight
at
grubs.
grubs. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And then with the tram, you can get an extra grub. Okay, cool.
You can get
Nos
Nos
grub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had more, like, once I got Dash, though, then that put Spore Shroom Grub and Mimic Grub Deep Nest in Logic, too. So, like, I think
Yeah.
we had 17 grubs we could get.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there were a
I
lot
was
of
at
grubs.
13 for a little while, and I was just sitting on it. I was waiting for access to one more grub, and I was like, God, when is it going to show up? And then you marked it.
Yeah. I completely forgot about the Uma goal. Or, like, I didn't forget about the goal. I forgot that Grimchild works for that, basically. I don't know how. Like, I got Grimchild checked
Really
Grim
works for that.
and was like, okay, like, I can't do anything else. Let's keep doing checks.
Oh, yeah, QG Stag at Salubra. Yeah, I did not have that.
Oh, you didn't get that? Okay.
I never
Oh,
checked
right.
Salubra the whole race.
Yeah. That's another grub you missed.
I forgot about that really
Oh,
hard.
yeah, I didn't
the
even
first
get that
time I
grub.
The first
That
time I
would've
went,
been
I missed the fireball skip, and I hadn't infected Crossroads yet. The second time I chose to like continue on to right side and just get the bench, and then I just forgot to ever come back.
I see.
Um,
Where were your maps, by the way? That was really quick.
yeah, I'm actually really proud of this play. I got the first one. I went down to Hot Springs bench immediately,
Mhm.
and then I came back up and went through Green Path. I went upper Green Path, did like I was kind of contesting for Vengefly King, Massive Moss Charger, but I knew that going down to the Hot Springs bench might lose me it. And it definitely did. And so I got the Green Path map, and then I did the Fireball skip to Fungal to
Mm.
the Queen Station one.
Okay.
I've never actually done it before, and I was like, screw it, let's just try it once. And I ended up getting it, and then
Nice.
getting that map for my third one.
Yeah, I was going to do that to get that map, but that would have been my first map because I rushed VKMMC, but I missed that skip. Like, I fireballed the wrong way once, and I was like, okay, never mind, screw it. And then I just left and went to Salubra instead. But I went to go get the the Crossroads map, and then you marked the goal. So, like, there was no way I was going to get it, even if I got that skip. I was like a full map behind, basically, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucas didn't have to kill MMC. That's another thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, my green path was pretty terrible, so that would do it.
How many times did you die this seed?
None.
Oh, okay. I was hoping you'd make me feel better about myself. I think I died.
Mathulu lost his
6
Geo
times?
twice or something.
Yeah, I think I died like 6 times. And to like really stupid stuff. I went into Lemeg with 4 health, and I accidentally like triggered them independently of each other and took hits on both of them and died.
Oh no.
I went into
Shade inaccessible, which was really unfortunate. Though I
Yeah,
guess
if
like
you die
you didn't
there.
have Geo.
I didn't have anything, so I just left my shade. I left my shade most of the times. I ended the race without a shade. But yeah, then also like the city storerooms elevator, like the vessel fragment check. I got comboed once, and then I was just like, fuck it, I'll just like run back down. And I like went down and tried to fireball, and I like stalled in the air for like a second, but it didn't actually hit them, so I got comboed again, and took 4 damage in the span of like 6 seconds, and just immediately died again.
Didn't one of you like die to pogoing Uma, or was that a different race? I think it may have been
that was the
earlier
last
race.
race.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that was, but I definitely had some pretty goofy deaths. I played very nervous, I think.
Yeah, my beginning was super sketchy. I had to heal like 3 or 4 times in Green Path on the way to VK. It was rough.
Yeah.
Also, like the very first, like the Shape of Un goal, I meant to buy it, and I accidentally scrolled to the Geo and bought that. And then I was like, oh no. And as I was buying it again, like I bought it even after that, and then you marked it. And I was like, God damn it. Like, it's a terrible story.
Yeah, I don't know how different our King's passes were, but I got I feel like it was the second thing I bought. I bought VS first, and then I bought Shape of Un, and then I stared at the board for like 3 seconds, being like, "Oh God, I can't find this goal. Where is it?" I was so terrified you were about to mark it.
Yeah, I think Mathulu had this.
Like if you had like,
I think Mathulu. I think he had a slightly better King's Pass with like not
because I missed the hard
fall,
fall.
Right?
Yeah.
Or I missed the soft fall rather.
Yeah, I see. Like I took a hit on the second bench fly, so it wasn't like
that's true. That's true.
But yeah, it was reasonably fast. But yeah, I bought Vengeful Spirit as soon as I saw it, and then I scrolled down, saw Shape of Un, and then like accidentally bought the Geo first instead, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna miss.
Yeah, that's probably what cost you there.
Yeah. I was waiting for anything to lead me to Abyss. I was like, this would be so appropriate. Like, we have King's Brand since like super early, maybe intended progressions in Abyss, but like never found Wraiths, never found any fragments.
I had Wraiths forever. Wraiths was in
it was at Well, right? Yeah.
Which is out of luck.
Gotcha.
Which is the only reason I didn't check Shriek, because I needed vertical. This board was super vertical heavy.
Very vertical heavy.
Which happens, but yeah.
So
as soon as
Abyss is hilarious. This seed. It has it has 2 white fragments in Abyss at near Shade Cloak, and as well as Hidden Station Stag and Abyss Shriek, and a Dreamer at Lifeblood Core.
What was
as well
at
as
Hidden
the
Station?
Incredible.
Just a Mask Shard. Nothing.
Okay.
But yeah, it would have been pretty stacked for a Blackout.
Yeah. As soon as I finished that Grim fight, I was like, man, there's just enough goals on here that I should basically stop doing checks. And I did a couple of the like really quick ones and ended up getting dash, which was nice. But I still had like Teacher's Archives available. So I felt like I kind of, even if I got sniped on one of those.
I never got Claw, so I wasn't going to either. Because like when I finally got Wings, I was like, okay, so this was the progression he found. Because I think every single one of the goals you did, and especially because you hadn't done Crown, I thought, okay, like he probably has Wings, because like every other goal you can do with Wings.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to do. I was like, there's almost no way he finds this Claw, I feel like. So I may as well do the stuff that requires Wings only first, in case that's the stuff you're actually going for. I figured it was more likely you found a set of Wings than found the other Claw. So I left the Claw locked ones for late.
You had more tablets and archives just free, so like I would have needed to find Claw like immediately, and that was not happening. I was about to do the Green Path route, for example.
Was there anything at Essence?
No, Essence
never ended up checking.
No, that's nothing.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
I think at the end, when you found Wings, you went to do like Marmu first, but I think if you instead went to do Watcher Knight, you could have possibly sniped Locus on that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because Locus didn't have the Shade Soul that you did.
That? Oh, okay, yeah. I was waiting, I was on my way to Watcher Knights. I was like entering Watcher's Spire when you marked it, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was still like. It was still extremely hard for you to turn that into a victory, but definitely.
I also again, I thought he had Wings, and I thought he thought I had no vertical, so I was like, maybe he'll put off Watchers and go do checks. But yeah.
Yeah, I know how good you are, so I knew that you were gonna find vertical at some point, and I was like, okay, let's just play as if he's found some sort of vertical, and that's probably Wings, and just tried to get as many Wings goals as I could immediately. And then I left that Crown in the Teacher's Archives for last. Also, you got the 4,000 Geo and buyout Salubra really fast, I feel like.
Yeah, I had,
can't tell whether
a handful
was-
of seals, and then I got to right side with infection. I
Yeah.
killed Gorgeous Husks so that I could buy the Arcane Egg and King's Idol at Zelda, and then I
Yep.
sold and had like 5k Geo. It was sort of
Gotcha.
ridiculous. I ended the seed with almost 6k spent, actually. Yeah, there
I
was
guess,
like-
where was your dream nail? Because I never found one.
Luke Marm.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was thinking about going and doing that, but I was like, base VS, base dive sounds awful.
Yeah, I had wraiths too, so it was pretty easy. But like,
Yeah.
I knew it was in logic with just VS, so I was literally just like going through logic. I was like, okay, I have to find progression at some point here. So I was just doing every check I knew was in logic, and they're all like really long checks. And then the last two I had, I think, were literally the check that got me wings and Grim. Like, I don't know what else I had after that. So I would
So shoutouts to having like 8 notches at the end.
Yeah.
Good lord.
just so quick. Like, I got 4, and I knew there was one at like Sly or somebody, but you got like you marked 6 like a minute after I got my 4th. I was like, oh man, he's just sort of not.
I think
yeah,
Locus fought like 4 charms and like a charm notch, and that got him to 10 charms, and then the charm notch was enough to get 6.
The Geo
Yeah.
that you used to buy out Salubra, I used to just buy out all the charms that I could.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense. There
And
were
at
quite a
that
lot
point,
of-
I had shop key, and there were a couple there too. So, I just got the charm notch and then a whole bunch of charms.
Did you get your second lifeblood at 8 grubs, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. I didn't check grubs until very late.
Yeah, I tend actually I won't say anything there because that could come up in another race. I won't give you any info you might use against me.
Remember,
Yeah.
Mathulu, if Locus finds Claw when the seed is cursed, it must be at Grim now.
That's how that works.
Yep. I was
Soon
like
as you get
tempted to
Grim
go check like Shriek, but I was like, I don't know if Locus has this rates, and I know it's not logic. Like, I think that kind of killed me at some point. Well, I mean, Grim was in logic anyway, but yeah, like I was like avoiding a lot of the checks that I knew were not in logic, but I could technically do for a while, and yeah, it was just by the end I just
Yeah.
had to check everything. It was rough.
Yeah, I kind of felt like that too. My thought process was like, I know this is kind of a meme, but Crypts is always stacked. So let me farm the 11 for Crypts, and then like I went resting grounds first when I went through to right side,
Mhm.
and then or like when I infection skipped,
Right.
and then I did the dive and kind of got to Kings that way. And it was all just nothing. Seed was.
Yeah, I
Where
went
was-
there like much later, and there was.
Where were the other claw and other wings?
Intended Claw was at Hive Mask Shard, and
Right.
Duke
Right up.
Wings was at Queen Station Mask Shard.
Oh,
Of
okay.
course, okay.
Interesting. Vertical.
I was
walk
gonna
at
go
the
check
very least.
those, but I obviously had to rush calls by the time I found wings. So.
And then
I
I,
was-
guess
I was-
other dream nails. It's the last
Yeah,
thing.
I was glad you find it as a dream
Defocus, Zote, and Trader Lord.
nail. Jesus, this is a terrible.
God.
The King's Mold. If it had come down to kill a King's Mold, we would have been here a while.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Lukewarm, Deep Focus, Zote, and Trader Lord. Absolutely atrocious set of dream nails.
Oh god.
But Locus and Mathulu will be returning tomorrow to either finish out this match or to bring us to a game 3. So if you're looking forward to seeing that, then that's going to be, I'm not sure which channel it'll be on, but it'll be at 8 p.m. EST. So that's going to be another exciting one.
I felt like this was a good match. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
like it really just came down. Like we played the early game pretty close, and then it just came down
Yeah, I
to
think so.
that vertical lead. But yeah,
Trading
Yeah, I
goals
think-
up to because we were at 4-4 for a while.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think like any change in the early game of like someone like getting more like if like Mathulu had gotten like a few more goals, then that could have still let him come back from you getting Claw first.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it was like barely at the threshold. I needed to snipe like one of the goals that he did, I think, or maybe 2. I don't know, but something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also kind of like I found Claw and I was like, okay, this is great. I should be like in a pretty good position here. And then you marked obtain Dream Nail, and I was like, oh god, I basically can't get 500 essence, green path route, Marmu, or 0, I feel like I have no idea where that dream nail is.
Right.
So there was a short point in time where I was like, man, if he gets all of those essence goals, like this might actually be an even trade, the vertical versus dream nail stuff. But yeah, it turned out there wasn't as much you could do, and you ended up finding vertical way later.
Yeah, I think if I'd found those wings like 5 minutes earlier, which still would have given you like a 5 or 10 minute lead. I don't know. I feel like he had claw for an eternity, but maybe that's not true. Yeah, if I'd found it like 5 minutes earlier, then I think I would have been able to snipe at least like 1 or 2 of them, and that probably would have been enough. Like I could have gotten Watcher Knights for sure, and then whatever you did just before Watchers, maybe. Oh, yeah, you did the 420 rock. Yeah, see, I would have like, yeah. When I did Marmu, I think that was right when I found Wings, which is 2 minutes after you did the 420 rock, and that was at the Markoth dive. So the first thing I would have done would have been the 420 rock if I'd gotten there.
Yeah.
Faster. But yeah, it happens.
That makes sense.
You played it well, Locus. GG.
Thanks, buddy. You too.
Yeah, well, I think that about wraps it up for today. See you guys tomorrow. I hope to have a good race then as well.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, it's 8 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you guys for commentating. And
Yes, thank you for the match.
too.
And thanks to our volunteer as well from SpeedGaming for all the help for setting up this tournament and really helping us out. It's going to be an exciting finish these next couple of weeks, and I'm really looking forward to all the matches.
Yep.
Good stuff. Take care, everybody. Catch you next time.
Goodbye.